The following program is brought to you in part by the film Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace.
This is Leon Charney for Leon Charney Report. It is about twilight time, and it's about the time when the Scud missiles start to come. What we're going to do is show you what every Israeli citizen has to do, and that is to get his gas mask and at least be ready with that gas mask to put it on to protect himself in case Saddam Hussein wants to Scud Israel tonight. I'll show you exactly how it works. Filter is on, it's been refitted. One cannot enter Israel today without having this mask in your possession. You raise the flag here, the mask. You pull the two top ends very tight. You pull the two bottom ends very tight. And you breathe. You know if it's sealed, if the air is blocked. And this is the way you have to sit when you're a citizen of Israel every night, waiting for the possibility of Saddam Hussein to attack you with Scud missiles. Not very comfortable. It's certainly not a way to live, and for children, obviously, terribly psychologically harmful. This is the way you remove the mask. You make a clip here, and flip someplace down here.
It's further up.
This is the problem, you see? Older people who can't adjust to it can make a mistake and suffocate. And most of the accidents or incidents concerning gas masks have been with elder people who don't really know how to use these things. This is an antidote against nerve gas. And what you do is you're taught to give yourself a puncture right by the side of your thigh, and this is supposed to take away, I guess, the reaction of what the nerve gas is supposed to do. All this was pointed out to us 15 minutes after we arrived in Israel by people who work for the civilian defense. There is no one allowed to walk in Israel without these implements. It's some way to live, isn't it?
יכול לחתור בחייך, יכול לחתור. תפסיק עם השטויות שלך, בואי.
לא, תרדו.
שמענו מאוד, נו.
איפה לאון?
He downstairs. I knocked on his door, he's not there.
Thank you. God.
What an eerie feeling.
I know. It's crazy.
Why do you live like this?
It's crazy.
We heard on during night the sound was so loud as if it was in our garden, in our yard, and my daughter said it's next door. So, and we couldn't get out because it's forbidden to go out during night when the police and the IDF are in the area. So we waited, and during morning we came to see it's our best friend's house, and his wife insisted on Friday morning to leave the house because she said she had a bad feeling that something's going to happen.
It's interesting that Yehuda, who's been through so much today, has this feeling of deference that his father should be with him. And in a sense, I guess he's blessing all the events that happened today. The property has been damaged, but the soul has not been touched. This is Leon Charney. The Leon Charney Report is a Thursday morning, approximately 7 o'clock. There will be a ceremony at Yehuda Zakheim's house, the man whose house was destroyed last Saturday, to show that there is such resilience and patriotism left in this country. What he is doing is a religious service which commences the rejoicement of the first day of each month. And what he has done here is invited many guests to participate in a prayer ceremony, and thereafter a klezmer group will play songs exactly on the site where his house was destroyed. 3 hours thereafter, a cradle will come and tear the entire house down, and the house will be no more. Is this a man of sorrow? No, it's a man of celebration. A man celebrating the fact that his family has survived, and the only damage is property, and that the land of Israel will live forever in a very strong and ardent fashion. This is an interesting sight, to see a crane bulldozing a house that's been destroyed by a Scud from Iraq, and at the same time Jewish people gathering to pray their morning services and to ask God to give them a very good, healthy, and happy month. What a picturesque sight. A picture will speak more than 1,000 words at this moment. You guys used to be partners.
We used to be.
No more, huh?
No more.
The special prayer that's now been chanted by all the members of the congregation, so to speak, here is the same prayer that's chanted as the last prayer on Yom Kippur night. What you're seeing now is the morning prayers, which are chanted every morning by most religious Jews, Orthodox Jews. And the congregation, instead of being in a synagogue, is in a destructed house, which has been scudded last week. The sign behind it says in Hebrew, Israel, which is Israel, and obviously the Israeli flag is standing to show an open defiance that the will of the people of Israel will not be scudded in any way whatsoever, that life will go on in a more adamant way. Yehuda Zakheim, who is the owner of this house, is an extraordinary person. He's moved in every direction to show defiance. We have followed his story from the beginning of the destruction until now, and what will happen is his house will be demolished. As you can see, craters around here and bulldozers which are leveling the entire street. But he is indefatigable in his feelings about resisting, and his tremendous faith that God has spared him and will take care of him. The prayers are continuing. We met Yehuda the other day. He told us that the Chief of Staff of the Israeli Armed Forces, Don Shomron, was here to visit the house, see the destruction, and told us he was moved to tears by a television piece that was broadcast Saturday night, which televised the religious ceremony of breaking the weekday from the Sabbath day. Yehuda Zakheim has moved this country with his fierce and deep conviction in his religious prayers, and the way he believes that his religion has really sustained him through this entire devastation. we've seen this picture in newspapers and on television, and he's very determined to make sure that, I guess, the pictures of this devastation are broadcast to the world, and especially to Iraq, to let them know that Israel stands strong, and they will, their normal existence as normal as it can be, especially with the help of God, whom he's praying to at this moment. With us is Major Zakheim, who is Yehuda Zakheim's brother, and he's come to celebrate in the destruction. The entire event is organized by your brother to show that he thanks God that only the property was damaged and his family was saved. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. My brother thanks God for the saving of his family life, and thanks God that the only thing that was destroyed is the property, and nothing happened to the life of his family. And every day we thank God in our praying, and this is the time that we have to thank God more than every day for what happened here.
You told me a story about Channel 7 stating that if Saddam Hussein could have picked a house to bomb, this was the wrong one.
Yeah, Channel 7 has a discussion with my brother, and he said in the final of the discussion that Saddam Hussein had a big mistake when he shot the missile to my brother's house. And he said that my brother is the patriot of Israel. It's patriot Kachol Lavan, it means.
Yehuda Zakheim is the human patriot of Israel. He's defending Israel. He does it with his faith and with his feelings towards religion, which sustain him through this whole tragedy. I'm not sure your brother sees this as a tragedy now, does he?
I think that my brother doesn't feel the whole meaning of what happened here, because the saving of life of children, you know, I've also 2 children, a son and a daughter, and when you know the connection between you and your family and your children, and when you feel that you save the life of your children, nothing else is important for you.
We understand that you're a 7th generation Israelis?
Yeah.
Palestinians, huh?
Yeah, my mother is 7th generation. She came from Tiberia, from Tzefat, and her family is 7th generation in Israel.
And I understand that your grandfather was murdered in Hebron?
Yeah, my grandfather was not murdered. He was saved in Hebron in 1929. He was one of the people.
Hebron was a big attack by the Arabs against the Jewish settlement in a city called Hebron, which is a pretty famous biblical city. And your grandfather was there?
Yeah, he was there. And there were a few dozens of people that was saved there from what happened there. And my grandfather was one of them.
He was saved?
He was saved. He was one of them. There weren't many that was saved, but he was one of them.
What does your father do?
My father is rabbi in Chadera.
And how many children are there? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Another sister. My brother and me and another sister.
And everybody is very strong in their religious beliefs?
Yeah. All of us are religious. I also studied in yeshiva. And after high school I studied in yeshiva, and then I went to the army, like everyone in Israel.
No, but you're a major. You stayed in the army.
Yeah, I'm serving the army. I continue serving in the army now.
I understand your brother brought or is bringing a klezmer band to celebrate the Rosh Chodesh?
Yeah, he said that today is the Rosh Chodesh of Adar.
Rosh Chodesh is the beginning of the first month. Adar is one of the Hebrew months.
And he said that Mishenichnas Adar, the beginning of Adar, Marbim Besimcha.
Anyone who comes to greet Adar is supposed to rejoice.
Yeah, and today is the day that you want to thank God and to raise the morale of the Israeli people in Israel.
We know this is a Jewish celebration because we see a lot of food behind this, and most Jewish celebrations have food. Yehuda's brother with us, the major, has explained the story to us. It's quite remarkable to show how Yehuda really does not feel in any way pecuniary or financial about what has happened here. Usually people whose homes are destroyed, they meet with insurance brokers and they try to get the best or the most amount of money possible when the appraiser comes. But tell me, what happened with your brother? He wasn't interested in money at all, was he?
No. The day before yesterday, the man that have to
appraise
the
insurance adjuster. The insurance adjuster.
He told me that my brother didn't go with him around the house to show him what's happened there, and he said that the government want to give him back his house, and someone has to go with him to show the house. So I went with him to show something because the government wants to give him his house back.
He has become really a symbol in Israel of faith and defiance to Saddam Hussein. We'll be back after commercial break to continue this odyssey into history of destruction and celebration.
In modern Middle East history, only one peace treaty has stood the test of time, the 1978 Camp David Accord. In the new documentary film, Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace, learn the true story behind the greatest diplomatic achievement of our time and its lessons for the future.
The price of peace is very high. To have this courageous man and my close friend killed.
Winner of the Telly Award for Best Cultural Program. Now available at select stores including Barnes & Noble and online at Amazon.com. Get the book that inspired the award-winning movie, Leon Charney's Backdoor Channels. Learn about the Backdoor Channel negotiations that led to the historic 1978 Israeli-Egyptian peace treaty. Become a witness to history and order Backdoor Channels online at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Also available at all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at iTunes or Audible.com. Relive history. Order Backdoor Channels. Get best-selling author Leon Charney's latest book, The Battle of the Two Talmuds. Join Charney as he explores years of Jewish history to find out why and how Talmudic scholars and rabbis abandoned the Holy Land for the lands of the diaspora. Learn about the power struggles behind the creation of the Jerusalem and Babylonian Talmuds. It's a book critics call engaging and enlightening. A book which will be of interest to people of every faith. Now available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, or download the audiobook of The Battle of the Two Talmuds at iTunes or Audible.com. Leon Charney sets out to discover the true meaning of the Kaddish, the Jewish custom of reciting a prayer to commemorate the death of a close relative. Join Charney as he finds out the history of the Kaddish and how it has evolved. Reviewed as a refreshing walk through Jewish history and a book that deserves to be read by both Jews and non-Jews, The Mystery of the Kaddish is now available online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at Audible.com or on iTunes. Discover the Mystery of the Kaddish.
This is Leon Charney, we're back. This is something extraordinary. One is going to get chilled by this scene. The prayer is Hallel, which is to praise God, which is a celebration of the first month. But we have an accordion in the middle of the prayer service. I've never seen this before, except perhaps in conservative or reformed congregations. There's a chill through the air as everyone in the congregation is joining in. This is basically a very happy prayer. I've never seen this before in my life, and I've been to 2,000 prayer services. The commingling of an accordion in the prayer for Hallel is something I've never seen in my life. This is most unusual for the prancer to interject himself into the prayer, to add more sense of sobriety and excitement in a sense. The words are very contradictory in a sense, but this is an extraordinary event. A religious service, a celebration of a religious service over a destroyed house by a Scud missile. Saddam Hussein sees these pictures tonight. I'm sure he's going to see the resistance and the will of Israel. And it's all because a strong man like Yehuda Zakkai refuses to be morose about the event, celebrating the happiness that his family is alive. As we told you last week, it was just by intuition that his wife decided to leave these premises. Otherwise, this could have been a very sad ceremony. Listen to the celebration. You're here to tear down the house.
Yes, yes. After 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yes.
This house is going down?
Yes.
Right after the celebration. And then what are you going to do? Build a stronger house?
New, yes. New building.
You think Saddam Hussein is going to like seeing these pictures?
I hope. I want this picture to be in the salon from Saddam Hussein.
In his bunker, huh?
Yes. All the life he will look it from this picture.
How many houses have you taken down since the
Here,
war?
6.
6?
6, yes.
How do you feel when you take down a house?
Not good. I want to cry.
You want to cry?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Here in Ramat Gan, in Rehov Negba. It's
And
near here.
You live near here and you have
Yes,
to tear
yes,
these here. But this adds strength to Am Yisrael.
Israel Chai.
Huh?
Yes, he can never, Saddam Hussein can never die Am Israel because Am Israel Chai. Yes, never, never.
Here you have it. What more can be said? You've seen what we call the celebration of destruction, the defiance to Saddam Hussein. Our man here who's going to tear a house down says that all Israel is like Yehuda. If that's true, that's the strongest army the Israeli citizens can give, even stronger than the Israeli Defense Forces. The cantor is now singing a praise to God to show the thanks and happiness, the fact that Yehuda's family survived. As you can see by the pictures, the Chabad, the Lubavitcher Hasidim have a truck that is called a mitzvah mobile, which means good deeds. They've arrived here to give their support. I'm sure they'll be supplying all kinds of religious articles for this celebration.
We are in Shuk Machane Yehuda,
Where
in the center of Jerusalem.
And what are you doing here?
I'm working in the cassette shop.
Tell me, what are these? The green and the yellow?
These are the box for the masks of the gas. It's a box for the mask. They can carry, you carry it.
We all knew it was coming eventually. You don't stock up equipment like gas and great armaments for the fun of it. It's amazing that the nations of Europe were so glad to sell it and make a fine profit on it. Ammunition business is a profitable business. I'm very I'm very upset, and yet I'm not frightened.
You don't have any thoughts to leave or to go back?
Where would I go?
I don't know. Where are you coming from?
I'm from Philadelphia, America. Now, where would I go? I've done here 30 years. And why? And all my friends are around me. Now, where am I going to go? You want to run and hide?
This is your home.
This is my home. And what makes you think that New York or Amsterdam or London isn't more frightening?
What do you think?
I've been in London for about 3 weeks, and I was more frightened in London than I've ever been in Israel.
Really?
Really. I feel a sense of security here.
In New York, I think you don't need to be afraid. In Israel, we don't feeling nothing. What's about abroad in Israel? I think I am French people. I think in Israel, I feeling very insecurity, 100% security, and. I'm going to be very happy if I can see again the tourists from America, from France, from Holland, from Europe and America. For me, I don't understand why everybody is afraid. You don't have any reason for this.
The work here is very, very bad. The fly is not come. The fly is come is only halal, and what it's come, it's only maybe 30 people inside the fly and maybe one taxi go in the day. You make only one ride for 30 shekel, 40 shekel, and it's not business. It's not business for the people here. They can't keep family here.
We have seen destruction, we have seen rehabilitation, we have seen defiance, we have seen faith, we have seen religiosity come in its strongest form to people who've been damaged. We've seen bureaucracy which has destroyed the will of the people. We have seen people who said the government should react. We have seen people who said the government should not react. What I have discerned from all of this, which I could not have discerned while I was in New York, was the fact there is a terrific pride amongst the people for the fact that they have defied Saddam Hussein. Whether the policy of the government is correct or incorrect, those people who have lived here and lived through it will have many, many war stories to tell to their children and their grandchildren. And what I sense is a tremendous feeling that this is a very united country when it comes to anyone from the outside trying to threaten the existence of Israel. And what I want the audience to understand is that there is terrific pride. Before we left for Israel, there were many people who said, don't come, it's very dangerous. They were very skeptical about the security. It's not true. I mean, there are obviously security problems here. There are Scud threats all the time. There have been moments when there is the possibility of danger. But had you been here, and had you sensed this, and had you gone through it, you would have felt something that nothing in this world can give you, and that's the satisfaction of knowing that you are with a group of people who basically are innocent victims being scudded by a maniac or a demagogue, and they have survived it, they have resisted him, and they have shown him that strength is stronger than bombs, and that they will not be threatened. And I'm convinced now that Israel is stronger and stronger than it's ever been in its history. There are obviously policy differences within the government. There are policy differences amongst the senior government officials. I've spoken to high government officials, both military and political. Each has his own idea about how the events here should transpire. But all of them are united in the fact that Israel will exist very strongly and will not capitulate in any way whatsoever either to Saddam Hussein, either to the Arab world, and even to the United States. I saw a report this morning on Reuters that said that President Bush personally chastised Zalman Shoval, the U.S. ambassador from Israel to the Israeli ambassador from Israel to the United States. This is pretty strong for a president of the United States to chastise personally a diplomat. But there was some criticism by Shoval against the American government and the way it's treating its Soviet immigration and housing problems and money problems, etc., etc. What I have learned through these 2 weeks is that if Israel has to stand alone, it can do it. It can even stand alone. It can stand alone without the United States. It can stand alone without the help of Jews around the world who think they are helping by giving money, which is true, they do. But what they really wanted to see was the resistance of the Jewish people in solidarity, united in the country itself. When we left, there were many people who said they wanted to come to Israel, but everyone had an excuse. One guy had to go to a dentist, the other one had to go to the hairdresser. Appointments could not be changed. To those people who wanted to come and did not come, I suspect they will regret this for the rest of their lives, because the spirit, the indomitable spirit, which pervaded and pervades this country, is something that you will not be able to feel unless you are here. Our alternative is to present these feelings to you through pictures and dialogue and commentary by myself and other people, and to show you what the country really is like. And for those who listen to our show and view our show, we hope that you get this feeling. If we could suggest something to you, we hope that there will be peace and that you do come and visit the country, because it will not be the same country that you have ever seen before. And if you've not seen it before, come and see what the country is all about. But the spirit here has absolutely overwhelmed me, and my producer, who's probably caught pneumonia, Elliot Rose, catching all these great shots for you, showing destruction and rehabilitation, sadness and happiness. We'll be back after commercial break.
In modern Middle East history, only one peace treaty has stood the test of time, the 1978 Camp David Accord. In the new documentary film, Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace, learn the true story behind the greatest diplomatic achievement of our time and its lessons for the future.
The price of peace is very high to have this courageous man and my close friend killed.
Winner of the Telly Award for Best Cultural Program. Now available at select stores including Barnes & Noble and online at Amazon.com. Get the book that inspired the award-winning movie, Leon Charney's Backdoor Channels. Learn about the backdoor channel negotiations that led to the historic 1978 Israeli-Egyptian peace treaty. Become a witness to history and order Backdoor Channels online at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Also available at all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at iTunes or Audible.com. Relive history. Order Backdoor Channels. Get best-selling author Leon Charney's latest book, The Battle of the Two Talmuds. Join Charney as he explores years of Jewish history to find out why and how Talmudic scholars and rabbis abandoned the Holy Land for the lands of the diaspora. Learn about the power struggles behind the creation of the Jerusalem and Babylonian Talmuds. It's a book critics call engaging and enlightening. A book which will be of interest to people of every faith. Now available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, or download the audiobook of The Battle of the Two Talmuds at iTunes or Audible.com. Leon Charney sets out to discover the true meaning of the Kaddish, the Jewish custom of reciting a prayer to commemorate the death of a close relative. Join Charney as he finds out the history of the Kaddish and how it has evolved. Reviewed as a refreshing walk through Jewish history and a book that deserves to be read by both Jews and non-Jews, The Mystery of the Kaddish is now available online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at Audible.com or on iTunes. Discover The Mystery of the Kaddish.
Anywhere else, this would be a vacation by a lake. But this is the Sea of Galilee, where many of the inspiring stories we grew up with happen. There's a little bit of Israel in all of us. Come find the Israel in you.
Reporting to you from the Tel Aviv Hilton. This is a magnificent hotel I want to tell you that Peter DeShepper, the manager here, has been most courteous to us, and everything is fine. But what have I found? That a friend of mine who's in charge of room service has been one of the first Scud victims, and her house has been totally destroyed. Her name is Eti Sarusi, and I would like her to tell you the story. It is not that pleasant. Give us the story piece by piece. You came, or you were sitting in your sealed room.
Yes, we were sitting in a sealed room. A minute after the alert, we heard a whistle, a quiet, and then a real boom, a big one. It shook the house. We were very, very frightened. We got in under a table with the masks on. We put some blankets on us, because we laid on a mattress, a big one. So we didn't want to get up, just to stay very close to the earth. And we couldn't move. It was really, really shocked. And the phone rang, and my brother asked us if we are okay. And then
did the officials get in contact with you right away, the city officials?
No. We, after 5 or 10 minutes, that we heard ambulances and many noises downstairs, like screaming and shouting, and all the rescue teams that came to the area. We couldn't go out. We couldn't go out of the room. On radio, they said, don't move, don't take the masks off.
Were you afraid of chemicals?
But of course. And we didn't go out. It was really, really frightening. We couldn't see anything. It's a room. Well, everything was sealed. And then when we got out, we just saw that we are in the street, almost. It was very dark. Only the ambulance lights and screaming and noises from broadcasting equipment, calling and shouting, and it was raining, very, very black, very rainy. The house was full of glasses. We couldn't see much because it wasn't light, no electricity. So then we went out. We went out, very shocked. Went to see our family houses, because they're all in our neighborhood. We are four brothers there, and my mother, another house, five houses. So no one was at the homes. I mean, all the houses were damaged, and cars by their houses were burnt. And
what floor do you live on, Eti?
I'm on the 3rd floor, the last floor.
And the Scud hit your building?
It's not a straight attack hit, but it was around 2 or 3 meters from my brother's houses. Mine about 50 meters. And it was. They went to the miklat for a shelter. My nieces were hurt from glasses. We all were shocked, and then they got to. We came here to the Hilton. The Hilton allowed us to stay here for 5 nights. It was very, very good, very nice of the management. And my family stayed in Hadera.
So the authorities took your family to Hadera the same night, and you stayed at the Hilton Hotel for 5 days. Then what happened after the 5 days?
We moved to Ramat Aviv Hotel.
Why?
Why? Because the hotel didn't let us stay longer.
No, but the authorities, Tel Aviv authorities came to you and said, this is where you're going to stay, the Ramat Aviv Hotel.
Yeah.
They told you where you're going to stay.
Yes. No, they gave us an opportunity to be in Givat Olga, but it's very far. It's very far. It takes us 2 hours to get from there to Tel Aviv, morning time or afterwards, evening. And it's very far. And we choose to be closer because of the work and the things that we have to handle with the house and everything, to be in touch with the house. We prefer to stay in the Ramat Aviv, in the Ramat Aviv Hotel. When we got there, we looked so poor, so the social work said, I have to talk to you, like, you know.
Tell me what the living conditions are like in Ramat Aviv Hotel.
Very, very bad. Now they're trying to improve it, but it was very, very bad. We had to shout, we had to scream. The food is terrible.
How do you get the food?
Plastic bags. And
plastic bags?
Yeah.
Why don't you eat in the dining? Why don't you eat in the dining room?
Breakfast time, they allowed us to eat in the dining room because it's a half board hotel. And the dinner and lunch, we have to buy tickets, vouchers to eat this food for a day advance. And it's really terrible because the taste of the food is from this aluminum bag.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a takeaway. It stays in a way, and on the way 2 hours or 3 hours, I don't know how long, till they split it in all the hotels. And it tastes very, very bad. They don't serve us fruits and vegetables like normal, you know. It's like for poor people, and we don't want to be poor people. We want to rehabilitate. And it's... We were never been...
Are you angry?
But of course we are angry.
Who are you angry at?
At the municipality.
Of Tel Aviv?
Yes, of Tel Aviv.
How do you contrast what we read that the municipality of Ramat Gan has done a very good job for that?
Yes, they are. Their people got good hotels, good service compared to the Tel Aviv people. Good food. They get clothes, they get hairdresser, everything. It's not just luxury. What people need.
Necessities.
And we are very angry. So I mean, we don't just angry. We wanted to save things and to improve things. And they make us very difficult to do it. They make it very, very difficult.
Do you have television, telephone?
In the room? We have telephone which is connected to the reception. I can't dial direct. And we've been in charge to each call that we're using the phone. I mean, by the hotel rate. It's much expensive, but of course. And no television in rooms. No fridge, nothing like that. The Hilton management supplied us a small fridge if we want to contain some, some things, some small things just to eat afterwards. And this is very nice of the Hilton. But in Ramat Aviv we don't get it. Other rooms don't get it. They have to eat what they had given.
So who are you more angry at today, Saddam Hussein or the municipality of Tel Aviv?
Saddam Hussein, I'm giving the government to deal with. We are just afraid. Each alert takes us, my heart goes down. We are very afraid. And we don't have a sealed room.
You don't have a sealed room in the hotel?
Our hotel has only a few rooms that's sealed.
So what happens?
The room that we're staying in is not sealed.
What happens when there's an alert?
During the night?
Last Saturday there was an alert.
Oh, it's really frightening. We don't know what to do first. Get our clothes first, and put the mask on and then sit by the wall, which it's like asbestos. It's like a caravan. It's something very, very thin. The walls are very thin.
One last question, half political, but you're a citizen of Israel. Do you believe that the government has the right policy now in not hitting back Saddam Hussein, or do you think they should be hitting back? How do you feel?
How do I feel? I feel it's very dangerous when they'll have to start with our army. I mean, to give them back. It will be very dangerous. And I think it's good that we are like this, not responsible of the war. I mean, just getting the Scuds here.
We'll be back after commercial break.
In modern Middle East history, only one peace treaty has stood the test of time, the 1978 Camp David Accord. In the new documentary film, Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace, learn the true story behind the greatest diplomatic achievement of our time and its lessons for the future.
The price of peace is very high to have this courageous man and my close friend killed.
Winner of the Telly Award for Best Cultural Program. Now available at select stores including Barnes & Noble and online at Amazon.com. Get the book that inspired the award-winning movie, Leon Charney's Backdoor Channels. Learn about the Backdoor Channel negotiations that led to the historic 1978 Israeli-Egyptian peace treaty. Become a witness to history and order Backdoor Channels online at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Also available at all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at iTunes or Audible.com. Relive history. Order Backdoor Channels. Get best-selling author Leon Charney's latest book, The Battle of the Two Talmuds. Join Charney as he explores years of Jewish history to find out why and how Talmudic scholars and rabbis abandoned the Holy Land for the lands of the diaspora. Learn about the power struggles behind the creation of the Jerusalem and Babylonian Talmuds. It's a book critics call engaging and enlightening. A book which will be of interest to people of every faith. Now available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, or download the audiobook of The Battle of the Two Talmuds at iTunes or Audible.com. Leon Charney sets out to discover the true meaning of the Kaddish, the Jewish custom of reciting a prayer to commemorate the death of a close relative. Join Charney as he finds out the history of the Kaddish and how it has evolved. Reviewed as a refreshing walk through Jewish history and a book that deserves to be read by both Jews and non-Jews, The Mystery of the Kaddish is now available online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other retailers and booksellers. Or download the audiobook at Audible.com or on iTunes. Discover the mystery of the Kaddish.
The country is not the same. The nightlife is not the same. We will not tell you that things are happy-go-lucky here. There is apprehension. There is nervousness. But this will, this tremendous pride, that will live in our memories forever. And we can tell you that we are quite pleased that the Leon Charney Report has been here for 16 days. And we hope that you get a feeling of what it was like to live in Israel, and we're sorry you couldn't make it. We'll see you next week for another show.
This is not the end. This is the end for this house, yes, but this is a beginning for doing many nice things to Am Israel. I'm a lawyer. This is my job, but my hobby is by volunteer with the newcomers to Israel to help them with the beginning, yes, in Israel when they are coming here. I don't want help for no one, from no one. Now I want more to help the newcomers and together from Am Israel, because we are now in a very big time, yes, for Am Israel. no one will destroy our spirit, and will sing every day. We, the newcomers and the Jews in the state and other places in the world, that Am Israel Chai.
Amen.